All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 6 of Product University. I cannot believe we're already at session 6. In just 2 weeks, we will have completed Product University together. And we're already in the middle of February as well. 2025 is already flying by. Next week is, or not next week, next month is convention. So I hope you are so excited for everything that is in store, especially just in the opportunities of a new year. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am running this call solo today, so I'll make sure to check the chat every once in a while. Hello to everyone from the various locations you are tuning in from, be it California, Florida, Canada, and of course, we always have unique attendees from Malaysia and the Philippines. So thank you all so much for being here. And without further ado, we will get started. And so I'm going to share my screen. All right. So today's call is a good one. We are wrapping up, of course, our discussion of the various product lines. And so we had started with skin physiology and Insulderm, then we went to hair physiology and Bodolab, and today is all about supplementation. How can the specific life-ending supplements, but supplements in general, achieve really total body beauty, what we're really looking forward, because so many things internally directly reflect in your external aesthetics. And so making sure that you're completely in balance is kind of a marriage of both your topical products and what you're consuming, be it in your diet or in this case, supplementation. So I'm going to make sure that everyone can see. Perfect. Okay, let's get started. Alrighty, so as many of you may know, there are so many things that we can consume that are going to directly influence not only our health, but apparently the health of our skin and even the health of our nails and our hair, and it goes on and on. And so dietary supplements specifically are products such as vitamins, minerals, herbs, teas, and beverages that are generally promoting to, or rather claim to promote wellness. What's important is in the name of these dietary supplements. They are meant to supplement a part of your diet that you're otherwise deficient in. Oftentimes, people will take those vitamins, those minerals, the fish oils, even because they are not getting a specific amount of nutrients that are necessary to have total body health. But this is something that I always think is very key because if you are anything like me, you are seeing constant different ads and videos on social media, TikTok, and Instagram touting the next big supplement. And influencers saying, hey, this completely repaired my gut, this repaired my skin. And it's hard to make a decision because you are unique. You might not be deficient in what that influencer was deficient in. And so the results they saw in taking a supplement might be different for you. And so weeding through all of this ad space and all of this information about you need X, Y, and Z can be extremely difficult being a consumer in the personal care space. And so today we're really going to break down not only the key values within the two different supplements we offer here at Riman, but why these supplements are something that can really be promoted and useful for anyone and everyone. Of course, there's always the unique instances, but really looking at total body health from a simplistic supplementation standpoint. And so in general, supplements do come in so many different various forms, pills, powders, tablets, pill pouches, whatever it may be, and they can have an impact on a variety of biological pathways. They can specifically target your aesthetics. They can specifically target your health, your gut, your immunity. The list goes on. But for our specific discussion, we are going to start by kind of opening the door into looking at deep talk. And so to understand deep talk, you first must understand your gut microbiome. When we spoke on skin physiology, I had mentioned there that you have a microbiome on the surface of your skin. You also have one on the surface of your scalp in the hair physiology discussion. But your gut microbiome is so important. And this is something I have personally invested in, both in understanding and in various supplements before Riman, trying to obtain the most perfectly balanced gut. Your gut microbiome is a perfect little community of various bacterial cells, fungi, and viruses that naturally exist within your gut, within your intestines, and they're extremely beneficial. They help us for a variety of different reasons. Without any microbes, it would be very difficult to survive, actually. So we like these little people in our tummies, although the thought of a bacteria in your stomach is kind of off. But anyways, a lot of the different things we consume, be it normal foods or supplements, can directly interact with your gut gut microbiome. So understanding the balance and the importance of your gut microbiome can also help you make decisions in your supplementation pathways. And so there are so many different things your microbiome does, but to list some, it helps you digest fiber, controls your immune system, and even helps the health of your brain and your mood. But if you have an imbalance in it, you can see that imbalance externally in a variety of different ways. You can see it in your disposition, you can see it in your skin health, but ultimately this is known as gut dysbiosis. So we're really looking towards an imbalance of the gut when speaking on gut dysbiosis. Check the chat. Okay. And so with that in mind, there are up to 1,000 different species of bacteria in the human gut microbiome. And they're extremely useful in not only maintaining a variety of different processes, but they're also useful in looking towards when you're trying to achieve healthy outer beauty as well, such in your skin, your hair, or your nails, of course. And so one of the connections that are directly correlated between your gut microbiome and your brain is known as the gut-brain axis. And so the gut-brain direct axis is simplistically the direct connection between your gut microbiota and your brain. What's unique about this, and as you can see in this depiction here, is that it's a two-way communication, a two-way connection. Your brain speaks to that gut microbiota and they do the same back to your brain. And you need this balance for the various functions that I have mentioned. So emotional behavior, stress, even depression can directly depend on the proper function of your gut and the proper balance of those bacteria, virus, and fungal species in your gut. So what's really unique about the gut-brain axis in specific relation to the various mood disorders and mood balances is that your gut bacteria actually produce a variety of different neurotransmitters. And it also has a variety of different different neurotransmitters housed within your gut as well. And so, for example, roughly 80 to 90% of your serotonin is housed in your gut. Roughly 50% of our total dopamine is housed in your gut. And this is controlled by what's known as the enteric nervous system. So your gut actually has its own nervous system known as the ENS, or the enteric nervous system. So keeping that balance of serotonin and dopamine, we want that because if you, of course, have dysbiosis, you really play the chances of having perhaps less of those neurotransmitters and thusly less stabilized mood. Perhaps you're a little bit more moody or a little bit more uncomfortable. It can present in a variety of different ways for unique individuals, of course. But what's important to note in this connection here is that the intestinal microbiota, that gut microbiome, and the various metabolites, so all the things produced by these bacteria as they digest fiber, as they go about their typical bacterial days, all can actually have a role in modulating your GI function, given their ability to really affect intestinal permeability. So basically through this intestinal permeability, through the ability of your intestine to be permeated for these bacteria and these neurotransmitters to travel in this enteric nervous system, allows them to directly influence the health of your brain and ultimately your disposition as well. And so this is something you're always wanting to look at in regards to the balance of your gut. But furthermore, and more recently, a new axis has been illuminated. So now we, of course, have the gut-brain axis, the direct connection between your gut and your brain, but it's also been found that there is the gut-skin axis. And so your gut-skin axis is exactly the same in definition. It's a bidirectional connection between your gut microbiome and your skin, the health of your skin. And so this is actually, again, a direct relationship between those gut microbiota and their ultimate influence in skin disease or skin health. Important players in this instance are not, the neurotransmitter. It's not the same thing of the enteric nervous system. Here, we're really looking towards your intestinal barrier, inflammatory mediators, and their metabolites. So really, when we're looking at the gut-skin axis, as you can see here, it's more involved with the immunological pathway, your immune system, and the inflammation that can occur in your immune system. And the gut-skin axis was actually properly categorized and understood in looking at inflammatory skin dermatoses and the subsequent inflammation that was also occurring in the gut. So specifically, psoriasis or eczema can often directly correlate to inflammation of the gut or a general gut dysbiosis. And so your skin is affected by your gut health via immunity responses and inflammatory upticks. Oftentimes, this is something that's really crucial when someone is starting a new skincare routine. How is their diet? How is the symbiosis or the balance of their gut microbiome? Because you can put all the topical products in the world on your skin, but if your gut is not balanced, you might have actually an influence that is much deeper than topical products alone to deal with. And so when we speak on supplementation, specifically in the realm of fiber, we are also looking at so much more than just gut regularity. We are looking at balancing that microbiome so that you can experience not only a level disposition, but perhaps healthier skin in kind, or at least a regulation of the potential inflammatory mediators within your immune responses. And so with that all in mind, we come to talking about fiber. So dietary fiber is found virtually everywhere, found naturally in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, is part of the plant foods your body cannot digest or absorb. And so you have two different types of fiber within dietary fiber, soluble and insoluble. Soluble fiber is going to dissolve in water. So psyllium husk powder is a perfect example of soluble fiber. Even the psyllium husk within Deep Talk is a soluble fiber. It's going to absorb water and gelatinize and also blossom in size at the same time. Insoluble fiber promotes really the movement of material through your digestive system. It's going to collect around foodstuffs within your intestines and help it move out of your body, but it's not necessarily going to absorb water or have any characteristic interaction with water within your intestines. There are also so many different benefits from supplementing fiber or for just having enough within your diet. Not only does it normalize bowel movements, maintains your gut health, but it can also lower cholesterol levels, help control blood sugar, and even help in weight maintenance. Mainly with the weight maintenance category, that's because fiber increases that feeling of satiety, that feeling of being full. High fiber diets, high fiber foods really help your body fuel itself for longer, so to speak, because it takes longer for you to digest those foods, thusly making you feel fuller for longer. But soluble fiber actually interferes with the absorption of compounds called bile acids in the intestines. These compounds aid with digestion, but when they're unavailable, the body will use cholesterol instead. So that's really cool. That's how it's actually helping potentially lower cholesterol levels. But in terms of also lowering blood pressure, there was actually a study done that found that it could help reduce the risk of heart disease. So the benefits are numerous, but realistically, a lot of people do eat a good amount of fiber if you're having natural fruits, vegetables, whole grains, etc., but not a majority of Americans have enough fiber in their diet. And so when we look at the daily recommendations for fiber intake, it of course varies per each unique individual, but the general recommendations are as such. Under 50 years old and a woman, 25 to 28 grams a day. Over 50 plus, 22 grams a day. For men, it's roughly 31 to 34 grams a day, and men over 50, 28 grams a day, roughly. So if you do not get enough fiber, of course, you're not now at a higher risk for heart disease or high cholesterol, but you might be missing out on the benefits of consuming enough fiber in your day. When we look at fiber, of course, there's dietary fiber, there's dietary soluble and insoluble fibers. There's also prebiotic dietary fibers. And so there's so many different names and ways to call these, but when we specifically look at prebiotic dietary fibers, we begin to connect the fiber's function in your microbiome. So prebiotic dietary fibers really function as a carbon source for the growth of beneficial bacteria in your intestines. They are essentially food, and they allow the beneficial bacteria and viruses and fungi that naturally exist in your intestines to have that food source and to continue to dominate within your microbiome. And of course, at the opposite, kind of deplete any deleterious bacterial species that may also co-inhabit your gut microbiome. This greatly helps in the in the creation of a balanced gut. Bacteria really ferment and metabolize prebiotic dietary fibers, which creates various byproducts that are also beneficial for your gut. And so as you can see here, benefits of prebiotic dietary fibers include more regular bowel movements, production of neurotransmitters, as we saw in the discussion of the gut-brain axis, stimulation of hormone production that aid in appetite suppression, improving the immune system, and even enhancing the anti-inflammatory response. What's important to note in here is another question I often get in discussion of deep talk is, are there probiotics? Is it a probiotic fiber? And so this is the differentiation here, is that the prebiotic dietary fiber is a non-living entity. It merely is existing as that carbon source for the beneficial bacteria. Probiotics are living microorganisms. So many people will take probiotics to initially introduce a population of beneficial bacteria into their gut. Maintaining that population then comes with prebiotics, with really allowing them to have those beneficial carbon sources. And so when we come to appreciate deep talk as this prebiotic dietary soluble fiber, we're really looking at psyllium as the main fiber source. And so psyllium is a soluble fiber that is derived from the husks of the psyllium seed. And there are so many benefits to Deep Talk Plus, specifically in having the psyllium in a pellet-like form. Many times psyllium is sold as a powder in something like Metamucil. You add it to water, it becomes gelatinous, and you drink that gelatinous mix. In this instance, you take an entire packet of pellets with 10 ounces of water, and that natural gelatinization process that occurs with prebiotic dietary soluble fibers doesn't occur until those pellets have reached your intestines. As they begin to naturally absorb that intestinal water, they slow digestion, allowing for an increase in nutrient absorption, but at the same time, also aiding in that feeling of satiety, of feeling full. But most importantly, of course, with talking about Deep Talk Plus is the ability to help balance your gut microbiome. Because of those connections within your body, and because we are at our core a skincare brand, or we began as a skincare brand, we really wanted to look at how those internal workings can directly reflect in your external aesthetics. And so with Deep Talk, this is such a simplistic supplement in that regard, because fiber is really necessary for majority of people's, but it has so much to do with your skin health. What's also unique about psyllium husk itself is that it does not cause contractions like a stimulant laxative, nor does it draw excess water to soften stools, such as an osmotic laxative. This is not to say you won't experience these things if before you've never taken a fiber supplement or you've previously had a very low fiber diet. You might initially experience some of that discomfort. That's completely natural. But as someone who's been taking it for 2 years, that does subside. And so really what we're looking here is just the general and gentle supplementation of fiber into your diet. I believe one packet is just 2 grams of fiber. Don't quote me on that, or 2 or 5 grams, but very low in fiber. So still also take in fiber-rich sources, fruits, veggies, even tortilla wraps, I think, also have high fiber if they're the low carb option from Mission. But anyways, I'm getting off track. But we've also included zinc within this product so that, yes, you are getting that fiber source, but you're also getting that connection to the immune responses that are directly correlated between your gut microbiome and your skin health as well. And so what's another important thing to note about Deep Talk Plus is that on the box, it says to take 2 daily, once in the morning before breakfast and once after dinner. I find that this product is perfect to talk about not only with testimonies, that's really where the strength comes from, but also it's powerful in allowing for modulation. Myself personally, I do have a high fiber diet, so I find perfect regularity in just taking one at the end of my day. That is all I need to really have that predictability in my digestion. But some people do enjoy having it twice a day. Some people even take it at lunch or at their biggest meal. So whatever are the digestive habits you're looking for, feel free to modulate with Deep Talk Plus. But as I will always say with Deep Talk, it is my favorite product. I've been taking it for 2 years now, and it's severely helped with my gut dysbiosis. So on that note, we're going to transition now to the other supplement we offer at the moment. And so before we begin to talk about Beauty Collagen EX, we have to look at the difference in defining beauty supplements specifically. So Beauty supplements are products that contain ingredients specifically targeting the health or aesthetics of your hair, skin, or nails. So they're really meant to supplement your topical skincare routine for more additional aesthetic benefits. Some things like fatty acids and omega-3 or omega-6, biotin, collagen are probably the most common beauty supplements, but the list goes on. However, the same technicality remains here, that it really does depend on deficiencies. Biotin is one of the most powerful examples. You will likely not see much efficacy in supplementing biotin if you do not have a biotin deficiency. So understanding the different deficiencies in your diet, in your typical needs, can really help in understanding what supplements are right for you. But in the creation of the Beauty Collagen EX, this so simplistically introduces something into our body that virtually everyone can benefit from. And so when we look at collagen supplementation specifically, it is a hot topic in the market, as I'm sure you all know. There's actually 28 different types of collagen, but there are 5 that are most prevalently supplemented, so to speak. Type 1 is found in your skin, tendons, ligaments, bones, teeth, and even between organs. Type 2 and type 3, I would say they're next most dominantly supplemented. So type 2 is mainly located in your cartilage, type 3, skin muscles, and blood vessels. Type 1 and type 3 provide the proteins necessary for keratin in the hair and nails, but type 1 specifically makes up 90% of the entire collagen stores within our body and is 85% of the entire structure of the dermis alone. So type 1 is really a crucial collagen to supplement in the goals of general skin health. Type 3 promotes elasticity of the skin in the extracellular matrix, which is within the dermis, if you'll remember, but it's present at much lower amounts. And then type 5 is found mainly in the dermal epidermal junction, which is actually this little delineation right here. So in looking at collagen supplementation for skin health, by far type 1 is the most important and the most prominent within the various collagen stores in our body. But breaking that down further, so you found a specific type of collagen you want to supplement, there's different sources of collagen too. And so you can naturally get collagen from specific foods like bone broth and fish skin, but I'm not one to typically eat fish skin on my day-to-day. So oftentimes beauty supplements in the form of collagen can be extremely beneficial in that. You can also consume things rich in the necessary building blocks for synthesizing collagen in your body. Although, of course, you cannot tell your body to use those to synthesize collagen. It's going to metabolize what you consume as it sees fit. But things such as egg whites, citrus fruits for vitamin C, zinc, or copper, all these are actually beneficial in the synthesis pathway of collagen in our bodies and can be beneficial to consume. But when you're really looking at supporting your skin, consuming collagen is crucial, and specifically type 1 collagen at that. And so when we finally come to the creation of collagen supplementations, they can be in various different forms: powder, drinks, pills, etc. And they can also come from different sources: bovine, chicken, marine, and there is the vegan collagen option. Now, what's important to note, as I've listed here with vegan collagens, is that there's not much scientific evidence backing up the concept of vegan collagen. Many vegan collagens are actually collagen promoters. So it's going to be a mix that contains those various building blocks for collagen synthesis in our bodies. Or it's a vegan collagen made using genetically modified yeast and bacteria, which is absolutely fine. But just in understanding the choice for specifically vegan collagen, there's a bit more nuance to that. So oftentimes animal or, fish sources of collagen is preferred because they are quite literally the similar collagen amino acid chains that are naturally formed in the human body. And so as collagen is a very large molecule, supplements will have to break it down for supplementation. As you can see here, you begin with your collagen fiber, you denature it to unroll it, and that creates gelatin. And so, of course, many people stop there and use that gelatin to make jello and pudding. But if you go down further to degradation, then you get peptides. And so peptides is what we specifically use in the Beauty Collagen EX. Going one step further, you get those individual amino acid building blocks, which itself also have benefits for the body, although again, your body's going to determine how it is metabolized. And so When we come to supplementing beauty collagen, there are so many different postulated benefits for collagen supplementation. Not only can it hydrate the skin and perhaps even improve skin elasticity, but it can also help hair and nail growth, strengthening bones and muscles, or easing joint pain. What's important to note about this is various benefits depend on the type you are supplementing. For example, for joint pain, that's going to be mainly type 2, but for skin and elasticity and hydration, type 1, type 3, type 5. So really understanding the source of your collagen, if it's marine, bovine, etc., and understanding what type it is can really help you in deciding what efficacies you are looking for in your collagen supplement. And so before we get to talking about, of course, the Beauty Collagen Ampule, I know it's always also a hot topic of, I already have collagen in my facial cream or the serum. Why do I need to consume it orally? So really, it's seen and it's opinionated that collagen should be used synergistically in these two forms. Both topical and oral collagen complement one another. Topical collagen, such as those administered in creams or, of course, in the Collagen 100 melting sheet, treat a specific area, and it's most often known to boost moisturization of the skin. So, as many of you may know, collagen is not easily absorbed through the skin, but specifically the introduction of collagen peptides to the skin aids in skin moisturization. Of course, there's a unique instance of specifically the Collagen 100 melting sheet in that those are collagen nanofibers. So those are actually maintained relatively in the collagen chain shape and spun down to be 1/350th the size of a human pore. So administration is unique, but typically it is going to be in a collagen peptide within your creams or your serums, and typically it's going to mainly have the benefit of moisturizing a local area. In consumption or oral collagen, it's going to be metabolized differently as your body sees fit, and it's going to have those various benefits as previously mentioned: skin support, joint health, the list goes on. So realistically, many scientists recommend consuming and otherwise participating in these collagen products synergistically, doing both. That's really going to bring you the most support on that collagen platform. And so what collagen supplement to consume other than the Beauty Collagen Ampule or the Beauty Collagen EX? So our Beauty Collagen Ampule is composed of type 1 marine-derived collagen, and this collagen is hydrolyzed into low molecular weight peptides for enhanced bioavailability. As I had mentioned, collagen in its native form is an extremely large molecule and must be broken down. So we chose a specific hydrolyzed peptide that has a key amino acid chain that has shown efficacy in skin support in just 6 weeks of daily consumption and just 2 grams of supplementation. And what's important to note, because there are so many different collagen supplements on the market, is that this collagen peptide is award winning. So it's the first collagen ingredient in Korea to be awarded the IR52 Jangyeong-sil Award. So beginning in 1991, this award was sponsored by the Ministry of Science and Technology. And it's actually given weekly, and it's given for outstanding new technology applied products developed by Korean companies or technology labs. And so the criteria for winning this award is not only technological importance, but originality, economic value, and technical spillover effect. So with all of that in consideration, these collagen peptides won that award. And so that's something we are proud to include into our products, because not only do we see the efficacy in testing, but it also is unique amongst the variety of other supplements in the market today. And of course, that's not the standalone ingredient. So within the Beauty Collagen Ampule, we have so many other, not necessarily even side ingredients. These are also key ingredients that have additional skin benefits and application. Hyaluronic acid improves skin hydration and joint lubrication. Wheat ceramides are ceramides that are actually from the lipids of the wheat plant. And oral supplementation of ceramides have shown in certain studies to reinforce barrier strength and hydration. The wheat ceramides I always want to pause on, because the wheat in the name obviously makes it so that we must list wheat as a contained allergen within the packaging of the Beauty Collagen EX. That being said, the specific raw material is taken from the lipids of the wheat plant and are actually free from the allergen associated with celiacs or gluten intolerances as defined by the Gluten-Free Certification Organization. But because of the nature of this raw material and how it is named, we must label it as wheat including. So I always invite those that do have gluten sensitivities to practice at their discretion. If they want to take it or if they have that availability to consume it, feel free to do so, but that's really the main detail with the wheat ceramide ingredients specifically. List goes on. Biotin, this is a B vitamin, and as I had mentioned, it can help alleviate the symptoms of biotin deficiencies. And now with selenium and glutathione. So some of you may know this was a more recent addition towards the end of last year in the reformulation of the Beauty Collagen Ampule, which is now the Beauty Collagen EX. So glutathione is actually an antioxidant that is naturally synthesized by our bodies, but selenium is an essential mineral necessary for this synthesis. So not only are we giving your body more glutathione to robustify, to back up its stores, but we're also giving it the tools necessary to create more of its own should it need to. And so that's really where you get that synergistic antioxidant care. And of course, the bow on top of the present is that giant bung pole extract. Has similar benefits internally as does externally. For example, anti-inflammation and further antioxidant supplementation. So in summary, I also have a little recap because that was also a lot of information. So when we speak on supplements, they exist to fill in nutritional gaps from your diet and from your daily exposures, like vitamin D from the sun. Many supplements directly interact with your gut microbiome, which is a diverse grouping of bacteria, virus, and fungi. And specifically, we illuminated the connections between the gut-brain axis and the gut-skin axis, in which both axes are bidirectional connections depending on your gut balance to not only have a balance in mood or disposition, but perhaps in your skin health as well. And so one of the greatest ways to maintain your gut health via your microbiome is through the consumption of probiotics and, of course, prebiotic fiber as well. And so this fiber can be found in a variety of different foods you may eat daily, such as fruits and veggies, but many people are still lacking the necessary gram quantity of fiber in their day-to-day. And so in understanding supplementation of fiber, many fibers exist as prebiotic dietary fibers. These are not only going to work as fibers in terms of gut regularity and feelings of satiety, they're also going to complement your gut microbiome and the existence of beneficial bacteria within your gut. Some of the benefits of prebiotic fibers include gut regularity, but also producing neurotransmitters and even improving the immune system. So in the creation of Detox Plus, we prioritize psyllium husk, which is a soluble prebiotic dietary fiber to regulate digestion, but also help maintain that gut balance. Its compact pellet form allows for that absorption of water to not occur until the psyllium has reached those intestines, maximizing the nutrient absorption of the foods you are eating. And alongside that, we also have zinc for additional skin health and immune support. And of course, on the topic of beauty supplements specifically, we are talking in regards to the Beauty Collagen EX Ampule. So beauty supplements are introduced with the specific goals of improving the aesthetics of your hair, skin, or nails. And collagen supplementation is probably the most common form of beauty supplementation. While there are 28 different types of collagen in our bodies, type 1 is the most prevalent at 90% of all collagen stores and roughly 85% of the density of your dermis. You can naturally get collagen from a few select foods, or you can consume the building blocks necessary for the synthesis of collagen, but ultimately supplementing collagen is a crucial way to directly have a hand in obtaining internal health for external aesthetics as well. And so from the different options within supplementable collagen, there's type 1 through type 5, and from there, you can have different sources such as bovine or marine. And so we considered all of that in the creation of the Beauty Collagen EX and found that this specific peptide at just 2 grams of supplementation had the most performance for our product. And so this is a type 1 marine-derived collagen that has won the IR52 award. To complement that activity, we also have hyaluronic acid for for hydration, biotin for any deficiencies, wheat ceramides for skin barrier strength, selenium and glutathione, and giant young pool for antioxidant care as well. And so a lot going on within these two little supplements, but as I mentioned at the beginning, and what's extremely important to understand is that we view these supplements as extensions of your skincare routine. If you have a 7-step routine, these are steps 8 and 9. We wanted to introduce products rather, or supplements that had efficacy and performance for the majority of people's, not something that fills a niche market or is otherwise filled with magic words in many of the ads we see today. This is just genuine supplementation that truly supports you in your skin health journey. And so here is the outline, and I'm also going to open the chat and drop the link for it. Where is my link? All right, I'm going to drop out of this really cool. Oh, where did it go? All right, I'm going to drop the link for the worksheet in the chat and I'll pull it back up. There we go. All right, thank you guys. Sorry for all the bumpiness as I'm trying to navigate everything by myself, but let's pull that presentation back up. There's me, presentation. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, so yes, here's the QR code for the download. I also just dropped a link into the chat as well. So I hope that helped you understand why we chose these specific supplements. And by no means does that mean there won't be more in the future. But we, again, are really looking at that holistic approach to self-care in which the various efforts you're putting forth topically on your hair and body and orally are all united in that general effort towards achieving well-being. And so these really complement that Riman story and still have the same product philosophy in regards to ingenuity, innovation, and that Riman difference as well. All right. So of course, next week is our Q&A session. So please feel free to still send in some questions should you have any by this Friday. Would love to get some more questions in so that we can really work on creating a perfect presentation for you all, a really comprehensive presentation. I know you all are a fantastic, wonderful, curious bunch, so please feel free to send your questions to ritual@riman.com. And that's it for today's presentation. So thank you so much for listening to me talk to the life-ending supplements. I hope you did learn something new. If it created further questions for you, please feel free to email me at ritual@riman.com. Want to make sure that you feel satisfied in your experience and ultimately in your connection to the Riman products. But without further ado, I hope you all have a fantastic Valentine's Day on Friday. If you don't celebrate, I hope you just use it as a day to love yourself a little bit harder. But on that note, I will see you all next week, next Wednesday for session 7, our Q&A session. So have a great night.